Good evening and welcome to the Limited Adhesion GT Championship. We're now in round 8, the final round of the season, and I'm once again joined in the commentary booth by Random Dave. How are you this evening, Dave?
I'm alright. I've just been trying to organise a meal for 20 people for next weekend, and it's really stressful. But there are lots of people that don't like seeds or spice and don't want it to cost anything more than £6.
That's very nitpicky. I'd rather not be you doing that. I'll wait for my invite the next time round. So we're in the final round now, so it's all titles are available and up for grabs, and we'll come to those permutations in just a moment. This time we're at Oulton Park. It's a traditional UK circuit, especially for the touring cars, and we can see the championship standings at the moment. Lee Harding out in the front on 305 points, ahead of his teammate Rick Barrow on 282. Then Steve Greening, he's got a slight chance of winning the championship if things were to go haywire for Lee and Rick. He's currently sitting on 251 points. Ollie Walker, who was absolutely amazing last time out, is on 246, followed by Michael Messenger, Andrew Fulgrave, Ollie Ettridge, Reece Crichton, Don Parker rounding out the top 9 there. And in the Club 1500, you see Mark Innes well out in front. The title is almost his to lose, as we will shortly see. He's sitting on 309 points. Stephen Cakebread on 262, ahead of his countryman Janneman Pruis on 252. So it is left down to those three to battle out for the championship, but it's almost in Mark's hands. Stu Gerber in 4th, Chris White in 5th, followed by Stephen Koenig, Nigel Joblin, Jeff Hancox, Lloyd Martin and Chris Forrester rounding out the top 10. And we've got the others like Mitchell Day, Rich Meesters and Jake Weaver going down the order there as well. And the Constructor Championship, we've got Sleepy Time Racing well out in front. That's pretty much a settled score for them on 587, and the title will be theirs. Risky Racing Blue on 485 points, with Blackpink almost about 20 points or so behind. So that will be them battling out for 2nd and 3rd position. Risky Racing Orange down in 4th on 369 points. I guess Reece Crichton has missed a couple of races, which has affected their score. And it was the Liston Coast on 233 are 5 mainstay teams that have been constant throughout the season. Then taking in the teams in the Club 1500 Championship, it's very close between Team Heat Together and the Lefties on 441 and 424 respectively. An outside chance for Team Tryhard on 399 points. And we'll see how that goes as the race progresses. And McLaren on 330 points are the 4 teams that have been quite consistent through this season. And not forgetting Team FET, who we've got also been making some appearances. Is going down to the wire, Dave, and Oulton Park is a very narrow circuit, and we'll just go through the permutations now. So Lee Harding only needs 3rd place to win and has a title even if Rick Barrow wins a race, if Barrow is 2nd or lower. Harding only needs to be 7th or higher in class to kind of secure the championship, and of course Rick Barrow would really need to win and then hope that Harding would be 4th or lower, or potentially be meatballed, knowing this circuit. In the Club 1500, Mark Innes needs 8th place or pretty much higher to win. If Stephen Cakebread wins, he needs to collect both bonus points for the fastest lap and Mark Innes to be 9th or lower, so it is quite a push. Janneman Pruis is another one that's got mathematically a challenge to win, but he needs Mark to be 13th or lower in class, and Stephen Cakebread to stay out of his way as well, which is going to be quite some task.
I think it's doable. It's quite easy to put it in the tyres at Oulton Park. There's a few tricky chicanes, so let's see what happens.
Yeah, very close racing, which we'll soon talk about. So Steve Greening on 6th pole on a 1 minute 30.1, closely followed behind with David Lyon on 500 behind him. Lee Harding and Rick Barrow sitting in 3rd and 4th. Andrew Fulgrave in 5th and Ollie Walker in 6th. And we can see notable new guys like Maxim from the last race. Don Parker sitting in 10th. Mark Tranter, we welcome him back. It's nice to see him, our face from the past. Reece Crichton's came back again to pick up some points for the Risky Racing Orange. Mark Innes sits in pole for the Club 1500, followed by Jeff Hancox and Stu Gerber in second and third respectively. We've got Matt Densham, who we seen last race as well. It's nice to see him coming back. Janoin Pruis sitting in 19th overall as he battles to get to the top of the standings. Sam Stott is also down the order. He'll be looking to make up some positions. And look who it is. It's Gareth Winslade, and I assume he is in the Ford. I did hear that Ford go round in the practice, so I assume it was him. Welcome aboard, Gareth. Nice to see him back.
What's Gavin doing all the way back there? He didn't set a time, looks like.
Yeah, seems to have kept himself out of trouble. Yeah, he'll look to just gain some positions, I guess. A nice challenge for him.
I mean, it's surprising. You've got he must have had a problem because you've got sort of 15 minutes to set a qualifying lap, so he must have got one in. So, yeah.
It is a difficult track, being so narrow, and we have an exceptional amount of cars on the track today. So it's going to be exciting times here, and very close racing. I think maybe a few slips and spills, given the nature of the track, as we see someone go off track already on the parade lap.
Well, Steve's kind of really hung back there, and you can, I mean, I think line's slowed for him, but I think there's some funny business going on here, and he's gone.
Bit of a stuttered start, and that has given Steve Greening about a second lead already as they go into the first corner. And hopefully the guys will keep it clean as they all pile in. Great to see so many liveries. Here they go through Cascades. Are we going to see any spins on the cold tyres? Relatively clean so far. We'll see how they get into the notorious Shell's Oils corner, which is a kind of a sharp braking point into a U-turn. Are we going to see any of the back markers get into a... there is a little bit of carnage and chaos at the back. They'll soon sort themselves out. I think that was Chris Forrester, Gareth Winslade possibly involved there. And we can see Stephen Koenig down the order a little bit, but now out at the front, Stephen Greening has about a second lead ahead of David Lyne, who's built his lead out respectively as well. About almost 2 seconds.
Well, I think Greening had over a second over the line because of what happened at the start.
Any car advantages you think for this track? I know the BMW doesn't seem to be a favourite around here, but it's surprising to see we do actually see some.
I mean, from the things that I looked at, all the cars are pretty equal, and the BMW isn't particularly bad. It's not the worst car, it's not the best. They're all there's kind of nothing. There's no car that's really particularly bad apart from the Ford, maybe. The rest of them are kind of, the McLaren's not great either, but the rest of them are all kind of much for muchness.
Right, excellent to know. So not too much change at the front, and we can see it's the Sleepy Time Racing Boys very close to each other, and of course Anders Fulgrave and his teammate Ollie Walker. They seem to be catching up on the Sleepy Time Racing Boys there, going around the Oils corner. Let's see Paul Gerber. He had a good result last time round, and he is back racing, sitting in 14th place. Mark Tranter, who we haven't seen for a number of races, and in fact I think this is the first time we've seen him all season. He's back, so great to have him. He's a very experienced driver.
Yeah, it's qualified quite low down, but he's not really into quali so much. He normally makes up for it in a race, and he's made up a couple of places. But saying that, he's quite a way behind. He's 2 seconds behind Malaren there. So
yeah, a bit of ring rust for Mark. I think he hasn't been with us for quite some time, and maybe he's been driving other cars as well, which might not aid going around Oulton Park.
He knows Oulton pretty well, though. He's driven it in real life in Radicals.
Oh, wow, amazing! We just seen David Lyons set the fastest lap so far in the top split, and that's Stephen Cakebread who's just set a storming lap in the 1500, so I assume he's got a bit of clear air ahead of him. And that's the problem with Oulton Park, with it being so narrow. If you get stuck behind someone that you might have a bit of pace over, you're just going to have to try force a move.
There's a couple of places you can do it. Into the last corner, maybe into the first one. There's probably 3 places where you've got a chance to do it, but not here. Can't do it there really. Yeah.
As we've seen Mark trying to just getting slightly out of shape going through the chicane there. But Rhys Crichton is right on his tail. Rhys Crichton's actually already made up 3 positions, in fact. David Lyons is closing into Steve Greening out in front. Built up a considerable gap from Rick Barrow, in fact. So perhaps Rick is playing it safe.
Yeah, or he's trying to, or he's playing. So I mean, basically, one of his only chances of winning a championship is to make Lee have a really bad race. So maybe he's playing some tricks here to try and back Lee, into the pack, possibly doing a bit of a Hamilton and Rosberg situation. Happened a few years ago, possibly.
Yeah,
we'll see. Either that, or we can see that there are 2 Porsches here that are a few seconds behind everybody else. That's Tranter and Rick. So maybe they're just terrible cars at the beginning of a race.
Yeah, I agree there, Dave. On board Sam Stott. Of course, last time round he was doing absolutely superb until the last couple of laps where he got caught up in an incident, so he'll be looking to make amends here. Sitting up in 13th place at the moment, just behind Maxwell. And in the Club 1500, Mark Innes is now in 2nd place, so Jeff Hancock is actually... we see Rhys Crichton going off the track, and that looked like Mark Tranter. Indeed it is. He has had a spin. We might get a replay of that later. Stephen Maxwell looking to make a move here. Almost looked like he was defending from Sam Stott. So quite a trail of cars there. Don Parker, Rhys Crichton, Stephen Maxwell and Sam Stott all battling for this position, as we see what does look like the Sleepy Time Racing boys heading into lap 5, and Steve Greening responds to David Lyons' fastest lap.
Lyons only half a tenth away though.
Yeah. So this is the lap 1 incident. Yeah, it's a bit of a 50-50 that one, I think. I don't think either driver was at fault.
No, that was definitely Gareth that was at fault there.
Yeah, a couple of spins. Oh, and that's Gavin Kelly getting collected there, I think. That's what happens at the back of the grid sometimes. Oh, the other car is moving forward slightly. This is what happened to Mark Tranter. Oh,
just hit the tyres. Hit the tyres there. Yeah. I think slightly just caught the tyres. Really easy to do there. Yeah, there you go.
Oh. Excellent reflex from Rhys there. Unfortunately losing the position, but from I guess that was Don Parker.
The trick through those tyres is to essentially just ignore the tyres and just sort of concentrate on where you're pointing the car over the apex, and don't look at the tyres at all, because if you look at them you'll probably hit them.
Right. I think that was Tourmaline. Went very wide down at Druid's Corner, and now has Don Parker on his tail. I believe our Team Heap Together teammates, that's Matt Densham and his stablemate Janneman Pruis out in front of him.
All aboard the Rick train.
Yeah, a bit of tactics going on here from Rick, I think. Yeah, you can see they're all lining up.
I mean, 4 seconds drop to line. I don't think this is Rick's pace. I think, he's doing some some funny business there, which is fair enough, I think. You know, last race, championship. You know, like how else is he going to win a championship here? Yeah,
he's entitled to go for that whichever way he feels, as long as it's within the rules, and a bit of gamesmanship, but it's all within the rules. And that's a car missing a front of, I wonder who that is. Is that Janneman Pruis, possibly? No, in fact it's yeah, it is a Janneman. I wonder what happened to him. It's like the entire front bonnet has been ripped off. And Mark Innes has fought his way back up to first, so something must have happened to Jeff Hancock's. He must have had a spin which we haven't seen. As we see Paul Gerber down in 14th in class, Chris White up to 4th position from around about 8th or 9th he started. So is Lee now going to try and force a move? I think he's caught onto the game here. Oh, as we see what looked like is possibly Evan Conception off in the background. Indeed it is, off down at Cascades. It's quite a common place to spin off.
I think it's the two Sleepy Time guys. I mean, they're teammates, right? And I don't know, but do they go on voice comms? So
I would assume so. Yeah. Great, well held from Turo Malarin there. That was heading straight for the wall. Slams on the brakes, and here we go. This was Jeff Hancock, who did have a. That explains a bit of carnage down at Cascades, and why Janneman Pruis might have his front missing. Very unfortunate, because it was only the right hand side that got clipped. The iRacing damaged model doing itself no favours with that.
Line's quite up here, 3 tenths. Yeah.
Only 3 tenths the gap now between Line and Greening. And I guess David Line will be thinking, why not go for glory and get the last win of the season?
Well, the only reason why is probably that it's probably quite hard to do. to get past Greening on this track, unless he makes a big mistake, you know.
Yeah, especially the wide BMW.
Because he's not.
Choose his moment.
Greening isn't slow here. He's, you know, setting the second fastest laps at the moment. So.
Yeah. Oh, we see Lee Harding just having a look round the outside of Rick, but you know, he's caught in 2 minds here, I think, because he's got Anders right behind him. As we see Evan making a move on Mark Innes, catching up from lost positions. Don Parker pushing very hard there. He's up to 8th, so he's lost a bit of time to Turi, but yeah, Dom's doing pretty well. I wonder if he's going to fuel save this time round or not. I've seen it last time he didn't.
It's good to see Malarin back in the McLaren again. He's been driving the Beamer mostly, hasn't he, recently?
Yeah.
And he doesn't like it either. He complains about it. He says it's an understeery piece of, you know, speed. Drives out necessity, you know.
So we'll go through the order at the moment. So Steve Greening sitting in first, followed by David Lyon in second, Rick Barrow and Lee Harding, Andrew Fulgard round out the top 5. Ollie Walker sitting in 6th, where he started. True Milan in 7th, Don Parker in 8th, Reece Crichton, Stephen Maxwell, Sam Stott and Evan Conception round out the top 12. Matt Dempson, Paul Gerber, Maxim Hagelstein in the top 15 who are running. Unfortunately, Mark Tranter and Gavin Kelly are out of the top split. In the Club 1500, Mark Innes leading the way. Stephen Capewell is up to 2nd, and Chris White has made up 5 positions and sitting in 3rd. Du Gerber, Loic Martin, Gavin Winslade is up to 6th, in fact. That has dropped Jeff Hancock's and Chris Forrest after their issues. John Novak again making up a lot of positions. This seems to be a common occurrence. Go John, sitting in 9th. With Rich Meisters, Janneman Pruis, Jake Weaver, Stephen Koenig, and the Ledge sitting in 40. Then, wow, that's Don Parker being a victim of the tyre wall. That's unfortunate. I wonder how many people are going to be picking pieces with that wall. There shouldn't be a tyre wall left after that. I feel sorry for Don there. He was doing really well up until that point. But that's promoted Reece Crichton further up to 8th.
It's just, those tyres are one of those things when you feel like you're really settling into the circuit and done lots and lots of laps, you start to kind of just, graze it as you're going through. Like you actually start to clip it now and again. It just becomes a normal racing line,
Yeah.
But then it can sort of bite you.
Yeah, maybe a case of overconfidence, just pushing it, and yeah. Let's see if it will pick up any more victims as we see Gareth Winslade off in the Ford.
In his normal habitat.
Yeah, I guess it takes some bravery to go around Oulton Park in the Ford, as we see Evan Conception trying to get round Sam Stott in his Audi. He's going to have to sit behind him here for a little while. Whoa, and Sam Stott is taking a massive slide.
He was lucky there.
Yeah, looks like he hasn't picked up too much damage. Let's see if he opts to pit or not. Mark Innes well out in front in the Club 1500, about 10 seconds ahead of Chris White, who's now in 2nd place. Mark showing his consistency over the course of the season, doing fantastic over the past couple of races.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you say that he's won despite quite a lot of spins, and quite a lot of crashes. So I would say, if anything, Mark probably is a outright faster. He's winning on his outright sort of speed more than he is his consistency. And I think if he gets his consistency sorted, he'll be in the middle of the top split.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree there. And yeah, it's nice to see Mark improving his consistency from when he first started in the league. So yeah, that's what the league's all about, improving. So it looks like the Sleepy Time Racing boys have now started to pull away from the Blackpink guys. So what has gone on there? A bit of change of tactics from Rick, possibly.
Oh, Lee's through.
He is indeed.
Oh, no, he's not.
I guess a side by side at some point. What I think is going to come into play is lap traffic towards the end, being quite a short circuit. It's going to prove some challenges for the leaders, especially with some spins happening with some of the cars. And it looks like Blackpink have caught up again, so maybe that battling did cost Lee Harding a bit of time. And of course, if you're interested in joining for next season, come and join our Discord and sign up. The sign-ups are open. All experience levels are welcome. And we look forward to racing in the next season, which will be season 5, in fact. I see Doug Gerber chasing down Chris White. Doug has been quite consistent over this season. It's always been there or thereabouts around the podium places. So the field is getting pretty spread out, especially in the Club 1500 is quite spread out. So stay on board Doug Gerber here. And we see Jeff Hancock's going into the pit, so I wonder if this is a scheduled stop. Looks like Doug's got the pace on Chris here. He's going to have to stick behind him for just a moment. A bit of a train forming up behind Matt Densham. Don't seem to have Marin Hugavin today, which is just the sole participant Dom in his stable at the moment. More fun and games with Rick Barrow and Lee Harding.
Goes to Ricky Train.
Yeah.
It takes some skill though to keep people behind you. Well, he must be dropping half a second a lap or so.
Yeah, it does look
more
like
actually, 6 or 7 tenths even.
Yeah, Lee looking around the outside.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Oh, as we see someone going the wall.
Was that Gareth off again?
Could have been, yeah.
It looked like a Ford. Okay.
In fact, speaking of a Ford, here is Gareth. Ooh, a bit of a coming together at the water tower, that looks like. Not quite sure what to make of that one. It is a different. The corner does kind of turn in on itself.
Yeah, I think there's probably enough space on the right.
Yeah.
To not allow that to happen.
Here we see Stephen Catebread. What happened to him? Too much grass. And that's almost a certain trip.
Oh,
wow.
I thought that was gonna. Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I've seen that happen many times, especially in the public races. They tend to collect people up on that corner, and he's opted to tow to the pits. Yeah, tough one there. Racing against a top split person. And that's Reese getting it wrong. Almost at the same corner. So it's proven pretty difficult for some people here. Just pushing a little bit too hard, I think. But someone who isn't pushing too hard is Rick Barrow. And that's a prime spot for backing them up.
Yeah, I mean you've got Malaran catching them up now as well, so could be a bigger train soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't go around the outside there. He's just really nicely kind of covering off, going the inside line. He's done it for a long time now. It's difficult to know how Lee's gonna do this, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a long game, but I guess Lee just has to kind of sit and wait and hope for a mistake and pounce upon it.
I mean, if they finish in the positions they're in now, then like Lee's going to win, right?
Yeah. But
I think Rick's probably hoping that this is going to push him back into the claws of the cars behind Walker and Andrus.
Here we see Maxim Hagelstein of Team Speed Racing. He's going slightly wide there. He's sitting in 12th position in chasing down Paul Gerber. He's only 3 tenths behind. Matt Densham ahead of them has set his fastest lap of the race so far. We should expect to see some of the guys coming in for their scheduled pit stops relatively soon. Although I expect a majority of them, given the configuration of this track, to kind of stretch out as much as possible. As we see, that might be Don Parker off in the background there. Dom not having the best of races.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It feels like we ought to show some, a few seconds of Gareth Winslade or Don Parker, on the road to kind of balance out a bit.
Yeah, it's all good fun and games. It's nice to see Gareth coming back into the GT when he gets time. You see, that might be John Novak off somewhere. You can see he's had an issue. I think Chris White must have went into the pits because he's dropped down the order, or he's went off the track somewhere. Do Gerber up into second as Mark Innes in fact sets the fastest lap of that split, a 1:32 flat almost, so that's very rapid.
I think Rick's sort of starting to match the pace of Greening now. I haven't seen that 10.5 seconds increase that much the last few laps.
Right, that's interesting. Yeah, and Lime's kind of backed off as well, so he's 3.5 seconds off Greening.
Makes me wonder if they've hit some lap traffic.
Yeah, that might be the case. Yeah, it looks like Gavin Kelly, Mark Tranter and Sam Stott are out of the race. That's not great to see for Sam. I had high hopes for him in this race. Jeff Hancock's overtaken Stephen Koenig, as we see on the leaderboard there. It looks like Paul Gerber's having a good time holding off Maxime. And Lee, in fact, thinks I'm having enough of this. I'm going to go for the undercut here.
It's the only way, I think.
Yeah, get out of the battling here. But he might plan it well and stay out of traffic. In fact, just looking at the track map, he might actually be. Yeah, he might be coming to some traffic, as we see.
Well, if Rick has been sandbagging a bit, I'd expect to see a fast lap from him now. So otherwise he's going to get
absolutely.
jumped. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, it looks like he's got 2.5 seconds or so gap, and only Mark Innes in the Club 1500. So he has managed to get out in front of that horde of Club 1500 guys. So he'll be pleased about that. Question is, will Rick be involved in those? As we've seen Matt Densham just going slightly wide. And that's a common move we're going to see over the next few laps. That people who are being lapped or feel they're slower. Yeah, Matt Densham just getting slightly wide on that run. Stephen Maxwell making the most of that opportunity.
It's really easy to do that.
Yeah. So Mark Innes for the lefties doing absolutely superb. 12 seconds lead over Du Gerber. So the title is pretty much his now. Failing a catastrophe. Great drive from Stephen Greening. Just well out in front at the moment.
Yeah, although I think that start from him, he might get to the stewards over that.
Yeah, could we see some type of penalty? Because
have to keep up with the pace car to a certain extent. So.
Yeah, I was about to say, correct me if I'm wrong, you have to kind of stay within a certain length of the pace car, don't you? As Rick Bauer going very wide there. In fact, he might be losing a position to Andrews. Wow, that changes things.
Well, Lee's certainly going to be ahead of him now, so yeah.
Yeah, in fact, it's Ollie Walker, so Ollie Walker's managed to get ahead of Andrews. That really does put a dent in Rick's hopes. So I wonder if he'll opt to pit now, kind of minimise the damage.
Well, let's see if he does the same thing again at turn 1.
Yeah. Perhaps it was just a lapse of concentration.
Nope, that's fine. You can go a little bit more wide there on that exit, but you do get an off track when about half your car's over, I think.
Yeah, there's no damage on his wing, so that wasn't the reason why he went wide. So it's just, Whoa, and a large spin from John Novak. He's sitting in the middle of the track. Let's hope the other car there gets up through past okay. I think that might be the second spin for John. He was doing so well up until that point. And Du Gerber, in fact, is in the pits, sitting in third, but effectively P2 in Club 1500. So cars spread all over the track now, given the short length of the circuit. Loic Martin up an incredible 11 positions, so well done to Loic. Great effort from him. You see a car going very, very slow, letting the leaders go past. In fact, it was John Novak. Too much grass and too much tyres, in fact, as well. You'll be disappointed with that. Of course, John does great in our oval division, and pleasure to have him on the roadside. So it looks, from what I can see in the Club 1500, it looks like we've got about 4 guys who haven't had incidents. So that's quite a substantial amount who have, given that 15 started.
Well, I think Mark currently, can win a championship. He could have a crash into the tyres, pit, come out, and probably still get the position he needs to win. So yeah.
You see, Rick was really pushing it down there at Britain's. In fact, he's losing time to Ollie Walker, so I wonder what is going on there. Steve Green pits from the lead. Dave Lyne follows him in. Hopefully have a clean pit stop from David.
I mean, well, he does clean pit stops quite a lot, but they tend to be slow. Ollie's setting Ollie in clear air there.
Yeah, that's a great lap from him. Gets the bragging rights for the time being. In fact, his teammate opts to stay out as well. And in fact, we can see who the majority of the drivers opting to pit lap 20 in the top split. Mark Innes, in fact, just came in as well. So that will give him a clear run to the end.
I think everybody here would have just put in the most fuel that they're allowed to, so the people doing an extra lap over what Greening and Lyne have done, just either cutting it a little bit more fine or just conserved a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. As we've just seen Mark Innes get out of the pits. Chris Forrester sitting in second. I suspect he might have another pit stop to take. As we see Steve Greening getting past the back marker, kindly getting out of the way.
So Harding's still in a position to win the championship here. I think obviously Greening's doing everything he can, but his only chance here is that Lee hits tyres really.
Yeah, as we see both black-pink drivers come into the pits, and that will be pretty much everybody.
Yeah, I don't see anybody doing one more lap, apart from maybe Don Parker, because he somehow always manages it.
Yeah, he's got a cheap pedal somewhere on his rig.
So Lyne's lost out a little bit more in the pits to Greening there.
Yeah, it's lost it in about 3 seconds or so there. About a second and a half. And in fact, both Black Pinks have came out ahead of Sleepy Time Racing guys.
Yeah, including Lee as well. So
yeah.
I'm surprised they got out so far ahead of Lee. I don't know if Lee got some. I guess Ollie was doing some very fast laps.
Yeah,
Probably part of
in
it.
some clear air, yeah, of course. But they certainly have pulled the gap to Tourmaline. Janneman Pro's up to second now. That second position in the Club 1500 seems to be chopping and changing quite a lot. Speaking of the Club 1500, there's Du Gerber. He's probably going to be trying to chase down Loic Martin, in fact. Yep, there he is, Loic. And here is Dirty Winslade.
I was hoping it was going to cut to Winslade, like overtaking somebody or just driving along. And not, I was thinking, is it cutting to him because he's about to crash? He didn't. He just squirmed a little bit.
He's having the time of his life there, I think, going around the track in the Ford.
Yeah, I don't really think it's a very Ford sort of track.
No, not at all. That was Loic Martin pushing very hard. And back to Gareth Winslade.
He's looking to move.
Yeah, he's...
Oh no.
Whoa. Too early. Too much power in that Ford, I think.
Oh,
he almost did it, but... I guess he likes to give us something to talk about, doesn't he? But speaking of Gareth, he's been doing really well in the F3 Championship, in fact. I've seen him get a win or two, I believe, in the Club 1500, and I think he's looking to step up to the top split next season, which will be interesting.
Yeah. No, it's I don't know. I mean, I think he is a better GT3 driver. At least he would be if he didn't insist on driving the Ford everywhere.
He's really improved in the F3. I mean, his pace and consistency is really improved. So it shows what can happen if you put in the practice.
Yeah, I mean, in the F3, you can't hit anybody, and you can make less mistakes, I guess. So it proves that he can do it, just not in a Ford.
Also, what might be of interest is Dom's silly season, which is coming up quite shortly in the next week or so. Sign-ups are going pretty well. It's all fun and games in the closed season, which our Master Dom sets up. So Chris White lets, I think it's Steve Greening there, go past. David Lyne seems to be dropping slightly off from Steve Greening, but pretty much cemented P2 as... Is that Dom again off in the background? Or is it possibly Rich Meesters? I'm not sure. We'll soon find out. So Loic looks to have settled into third place. And he's closing in on Janneman Pro's, in fact. Nice little battle here between Gareth Winslade and it looks like Jake Weaver. And Chris White as well here.
Don't crash.
Is he going to torpedo it into Shell Oil's corner? No.
But it's not a replay, right? So we don't know it's going to crash.
Yeah, he tried to force position on Jake, but Jake's held him off. I think Chris was praying, because I guess he's just lapped these guys, that he doesn't get caught up in them. Jake Weaver sitting in 10th position. Jake again doing really well in the... Whoa, and that's someone off. That's another Ford, I think. It looks like Ledge. Yeah, it's Lawrence Aaron Jenkins. So we do actually have 2 Fords in the race today. It's nice to see Ledge also taking part.
Yeah, I think Greening's dealt much better with a lot of traffic here than Line.
Yeah, Line's got caught up a little bit. A lot of screen time here for Gareth. He must be enjoying his race. In fact, he did pretty well to get. I think he did get a half decent qualifying time, given he was in the Ford. In the practice session, he was quite high up the standings. As Jake Weaver moves to the inside.
We're just about 4 more laps to go.
Yeah, it's went pretty quickly. Mark Innes in the Club 1500s. Almost a 15-second gap. So that's done and dusted. There's not too many positions to fight for at the moment. Gareth and Jake Weaver seems to be the closest. Great shot there of all the cars going around. And this is about for position, so when Ollie Walker comes, I'm not too sure if Gareth will be too keen to see some track time. In fact, is he going to let him? He does indeed. Nice work there from Gareth. Actually, it was an ideal time to do it. Matt Densham on the back of Chris White. I'd say Matt's probably got the pace on him. I think that Matt may have had an issue at some point during the race.
I think a combination of Line maybe having a bit of traffic and doing a bad lap, and Ollie being very quick at this stage has meant he's closed up a bit on Line. He's only going to go about 3 or 4 laps to do it, but so yeah, I mean, yeah, it's probably a bit of an ask.
Yeah, never say never, but yeah, he's got another couple of cars between him and David Line. As you see, Chris White getting caught on the curb a little bit, opts to cede the position to Matt Densham. I think the fastest lap is still with Ollie Walker. I haven't seen anything on the standings.
One thing I've noticed about our fast laps that we see here is that they when there's an off track, they don't always discount it. There's a slight mismatch between what we see on there versus what iRacing decides is a fastest lap.
Ah, right, I see.
30.8 for Line, yeah, that's...
Yeah. So he's still got some pace left in those tyres. Jake Weaver's moved up to 8th. So a couple of guys must have dropped down the order. I think Chris Forrester might have been one taking that late pit stop. Yeah, a bit quiet from the sleepy time guys. It seems like they've kind of settled into a rhythm and accepted their fate, really.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Lee just has to not crash. That's all he had to really do the whole race, is just not crash to win the championship. And all Rick's doing is hoping that Lee crashes. Well, you know, they're teammates. You'd hope they don't think about each other like that, but they are, though, aren't they?
Yeah, that's true. As we see, Rich Meesters has got some front damage on his bonnet, so that might be costing him a bit of time. And in fact, Gareth Winslade is up to 9th. Jan Pruz must be in the pits or out, because that's promoted Chris White up to 4th. So another position to be gained by the likes of Jeff Hancock, Stephen Koenig. Stephen Koenig we haven't seen too much of this race, but he's sitting in 7th in class. It's not too shabby.
think Line must have had an off there. He's just set at 134.
Wow, yeah, he's definitely dropped some time to Stephen Green as well. In fact, that makes Ollie Walker only a couple of seconds behind.
Could be an off or possibly some traffic. Could be quite a lot of traffic for a 34.
Jake Weaver going very wide, letting Lee Harding go through, but given plenty of space. And his teammate Rick Barrow. Yeah, there's quite a few cars out that haven't survived at Oulton Park. We'll see if there's going to be any more fatalities in the next couple of minutes that we have left. Enjoy the sound of the Ford once more.
Sound of it's pretty much the only thing it's got going for it, really.
I wonder if we'll see Gareth back next season. I hope. Yeah, I think we're just kind of deciding the tracks, and I believe there's talk of us only having one car. So I wonder if anyone will actually opt to take the Ford.
Somebody who's sadistic. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I hope Gareth decides to do it, but he's not a big fan of the cars. You know, he much prefers the feeling of F3s. You know. Yeah.
So I believe this must be the white flag lap for Steve Greening. David Line still putting in the fastest lap for himself there, 30.7.
That's pretty close to what Walker did before, wasn't it? 30.7. So yeah.
Gareth Winslow trying to track down Jake Weaver to get that 7th position. Someone driving in the pits, so I guess someone had an issue. In fact, it was Rich Meesters.
Haven't seen much of Greening, have we? It's,
No, he's kept himself quiet. A lonely race. In fact, Jake Weaver celebrates the end of the season by smashing himself into the tyre wall there, taking a bit too much grass, and that's promoted Gareth Winside up to 7th. Another person we haven't seen too much of is Tour Millaren, after that issue he had going wide earlier in the race. He's holding off Evan in 8th. So Steve Greening takes the checkered flag here at Oulton Park, and the final race of the Limited Adhesion GT Championship in Season 4. Well done to Stephen, great drive from him. We expect to see more next season from him. David Line takes 2nd, good drive from him, solid drive. Ollie Walker happy with 3rd, flashing his lights of course as always. And Lee Harding will be delighted to keep the position there, and indeed the championship for himself, and of course the Constructors' Championship will go to his teammate as well. Well done to Lee and Rick, solid performances throughout the season. But of course, let's not forget Mark Innes taking the win here in the Club 1500, and indeed the championship. Great effort, and congratulations to Mark. Great drive all season, so plaudits to him.
Yeah, I think, I mean, Lee might be disappointed with getting 5th there. I think in practice he was really, really fast, but you've got to, when all you've got to do is finish, you've got to drive a bit differently.
Yeah, absolutely right. Lloyd Martin taking 2nd, and in fact he's coming into the pits. I wonder if that's going to change anything. Let's see, Du Gerber's just came across the start-finish line as well. So we're going to head to our colleague Dom, who's going to interview a couple of our drivers. So take it away, Dom. Great to hear from you.
Interviewing live in the car.
All right, I'm joined here with Lee, the winner of the Top Split Drivers' Championship. Lee, how are you feeling?
Yeah, a bit of a roller coaster, that one, to be honest. We didn't know the permutation of that one until you popped it in the spreadsheet, so we all thought that Rick had won.
Yeah, well, I think if you'd have got it done on track tonight, then you'd have pretty much had it guaranteed. But tell us about your race. How did it go?
No, it was good. It was one of those races where I couldn't take myself out or be taken out by Rick or knock Rick out or anything like that. So it will look very ginger, especially around the first few bends. And then attempting to pass him into every chicane and bend possible, but not being able to because I didn't want to spin out. But other than that, good race. Absolutely fine. Good for sleepy time. The aim was to be the top team, which we did with a race to go. So all good. And congratulations to Rick, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys taking the Teams Championship as well. We'll bring you into Rick. Congratulations on the Teams Championships. What are your thoughts after today's race?
Nah, it's been a good first season for us as individual drivers and as a team. That was the whole point of it, as we said. No matter what happens, whether we finished first and second in either order, we've won as a constructors, which is nice.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you guys came into the championship kind of midway through last season, and a few strong showings towards the front, but I think kind of joining in the season halfway through, you couldn't really put a title together, whereas this time, both of you just came out the blocks straight from the start, just raring to go, weren't you?
We put effort in, didn't we? We practiced more so.
Yeah, we practiced more than we did last, but both of us, we could probably put a little bit more time to it. I generally rock up on a Sunday at 4 o'clock and go, right, what's the track, what's the car, let's go.
Yeah, well, the extra practice has definitely paid off this year, and 2 titles to take home with you.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations to you both, and looking to the Club 1500 Championship then, got Mark Innes. Congratulations, your debut season with the LOA, and become the 3rd GT3 Club 1500 winner. How did your race go?
Oh, thanks, Tom. I sort of lost a few places at the start, just being a bit too cautious. And then just tried to keep it on track, and saved a bit of fuel, got a good pit strategy, and came out in the lead. I think a few other guys that I was racing DNF, so not quite sure what happened to them. I think I just tried to keep it on the track, and got a good result and got the championship. So really happy with that.
Yeah, absolutely. You did what you had to do today, didn't you? I think out of all the permutations pre-race, yours was possibly the easiest to execute. Was it 12th place you had to finish in class? So I think once Stephen Cakebread and Janneman both dropped out of the race there, you probably had a big smile on your face, didn't you?
Well, I mean, I never wanted to win a championship with other people disconnecting, but it did sort of take the pressure off for the last few laps,
Yeah, I mean, a championship isn't built in one race either, but the hard work in through the season, and that paid dividends, didn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, excellent work. Congratulations to you all. We'll pass back up the commentary team.
Thanks very much, Dom, and thanks very much, Dave, and of course Stephen Kernick, who also joined the commentary team at some point in the season. Thanks very much for joining us here as we see Rick and Lee doing some donuts. What do you think of the season overall, Dave?
I mean, as sleepy time guys were saying, I think they practiced this time, and that's kind of what it takes, really, isn't it? To win, it's just a few hours more practice if you're at the top.
Yeah, and we see the leaderboard there. Lee Harding finishing on 345 and Rick on 327. Steve Green was right behind on 323. Couldn't do any better today, really. And Ollie Walker getting 4th position. We look forward to next season, and of course, as we said previously, come and join us. An incredible 28 drivers in the top split had raced over the course of the season, and we look forward to having more. And the likes of Adam Highfield, we look forward to getting him back on track. And of course, if you want to join the Club 1500, if you think you're not as fast as these top guys, you're more than welcome to join us there. And we'll just see the championship standings for that as well in a moment. So Mark Innes almost 100 points out in front. That's an excellent achievement for Mark, and congratulations to him on 381 points. Stu Gerber getting 2nd position, so he jumped not only Stephen but Janneman as well. I think Janneman might have disconnected, has some issues with his internet. That's really, really sad to hear, but very close. Stu Gerber on 288, Stephen Cakebread on 286, and Janneman Pruis on 284. It's a great showing from the South African guys. Chris White takes 5th position, and Stephen Kernick getting 6th, so really well done to Stephen. And likewise there, 28 cars also in that split as well. So looking forward to next season. The track choices have been kind of almost decided. A poll has gone out, and we look forward to kind of getting those put into the calendar. And if you join our Discord, no doubt the schedule will be put up. It's really exciting for next season. So it will be Sleepy Time Racing who take the Constructors' Championship on 672 points, and Risky Racing Blue who will no doubt look to challenge next season, finishing on 585. Blackpink had a good showing today, finished on 561. And Risky Racing Orange, I would say they didn't perform to the best over the course of the season, but will look to challenge next season, of course. I think maybe perhaps missed a couple of races. Dom didn't have the best of races this time round for the Wizards of Lift and Coast, and I guess Marin had work commitments and things like that, but we'll look forward to picking those up next season as well.
Where is Adam Highfield anyway? So have we got is he like sort of, I don't know, at the top of a Tibetan mountain or something?
Could
We've got to go there and coax him down.
Yeah, or they might still be picking him out of Montreal from when Tour launched them in there. So the GT Championship standings for the Club 1500, Team Heap Together takes the title on 513. The Lefties almost did it on 493, and Team Tryhard being pipped there to second place by the Lefties, so they finished on 490 points. And McLaren finished on a 391, so that was the 4 teams who kind of were consistent over that season. Team FET finishing on 216. I think Jake Weaver was the mainstay in that team. So going into next season, Dave, do you want to get your Mystic Meg crystal ball out and make a guess, or haggle a guess at who will perform well next season?
I've just got a feeling that that the Risky boys are gonna, step it up a little bit. I think I don't know. I imagine they're probably pretty much turning up for the the race with just doing like an hour of practice or something. But I think to win it, I think they're just going to need to put in a tiny bit more effort, and I think we might see them win. Yeah,
definitely all to play for, and props to Rick and Lee who really set the mark of the standard this year, or this season I should say rather. But Club 1500, I wonder if Mark will come back to defend his title. He certainly was leaps and bounds ahead of everyone, but whether he'll make the step up or not, I'm not sure, but definitely could see him trying to defend his title. There's the likes of Stephen Cakebread as well, who done well. I think Stephen might be stepping up, but we'll see what happens with Club 1500 as well. So don't forget, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, can give us a like on Facebook, and of course visit thelimitofadhesion.com for more information about our league, and naturally join our Discord where all the chatter goes on and information gets posted first hand. Thanks very much for joining me, Dave. It's been a pleasure. We might see you next season, and of course do you want to say goodbye?
Yep, cheers, see you next season.
See you next season.